I know it's basically been forever since I last uploaded on this channel, but, you know, college has been a very eye-opening experience for me, and, you know, I've learned, while I'm continuing to learn, what I need, and, again, I am not quitting. But anyways, it's me again, King Hawkblocks, and this is the big one. We're at the final episode of the best of the worst of Adam Sandler. We've been through many Adam Sandler movies, and in this episode, we're covering 2 more. I'll be continuing the Cinematic Sludge or Gold series for a long time, and reviewing many more movies. The possibilities are endless on this channel, and I hope y'all stick around for the future. So, here we go for our second to last Adam Sandler movie, and this is another one that was recommended to me by Queen Chrissy. Make sure to thank her for helping make this episode possible. This film was inspired by one of Adam Sandler's characters from Saturday Night Live, a trend that became common in Happy Madison films in the new millennium. Sandler described the character of Bobby Boucher as being comparable to Canteen Boy. He loves water, gets picked on, and has a heart of gold. Tim Hurley, a screenwriter who's worked with Sandler for pretty much his entire career, and wrote some of the movies we covered earlier in this series, actively sought to do something that was the inverse of Happy Gilmore, who's, you know, an absolutely insane individual. In this world, Bobby's a normal individual in a crazy world. Despite the fact that the movie's set in Louisiana, most of it was shot in Central Florida. It was released on November 6, 1998, and it got mixed reviews, but it made $190.2 million against a $23 million budget and became a cult classic, like pretty much any movie that gets derided at first. Adam Sandler plays Bobby Boucher, who is a water boy that lives with his mother Helen, Kathy Bates, and is made fun of by the other football players. After Coach Klein, Henry Winkler, discovers he's a great tackler, Boucher joins the team as their linebacker. The laughs are very consistent, in my opinion, and I think that has to do with the fact that the movie is just very laid back. It's one of those Sandler movies that you can just sit back, relax, and just not think too much. Just chill. And on top of that, it's just very quotable.
Needle dick, you can do it all night long. Everything is the devil to you, mama!
And the film is very refreshing in my opinion, as Bobby Boucher is more likable than Happy Gilmore and many Sandler protagonists. I really enjoyed Bobby's story of wanting to gain independence but not wanting to disrespect his parents. Like, I think we've all been there before. It's very relatable. He's just a joy to follow. Sandler movies are far from being the peak of cinema, but in story, this was just a simple, fun movie. I know it might not seem like I have much to say about it, but that's all I can say about The Waterboy. Just a classic. Just a relatable, classic, cozy movie. The main magic of the movie comes from its cast. As we know, Adam Sandler does that thing where he talks out the side of his mouth. This was the first time he did that. But it's done to a toned-down effect here. It's done in a way where I can't see it grating on people's nerves as much as Lil Nicky, as much as I love it. Or Jack and Jill. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that movie again. It's quieter a little bit. It's much quieter, and it shows a solid balance of having life, but not being obnoxious. It's like the perfect middle ground between Jack and Jill and Pixels. I can't believe I just compared Waterboy to those two. That said, it kind of does get a little hard to understand what he's saying at times, but it doesn't really take away from the movie. It's just something I felt like mentioning. Henry Winkler here is a massive standout.
I am not telling you to go on a shooting rampage, but you have to stand up for yourself or they're going to ride you all season long.
Fun fact, he actually got the role after calling Sandler to thank him for mentioning him in the Hanukkah song. Kathy Bates is another notable standout in this. She's funny, obviously, is clearly just having fun. Like, she elevates it beyond a dumb Sandler flick. And although she initially threw the script away, I'm grateful she was willing to have fun with this and embrace having her character having a fully realized arc in this. Fairuza Balk is great as Sandler's love interest here, and the scene where she has the "want me to kill them" sign is just a masterpiece. Like, I don't know how to describe it. And if I'm being honest, when the police came up after Bobby passed his exam, I actually thought she was going to get arrested. Like The Longest Yard remake, the film has many cameos from famous sports stars like Paul White II, Brent Musburger, Lynn Swan, and obviously Dan Patrick. Sandler's crew is great here, and I love it. And please, no one shoot me for saying this, but I love the "you can do it" line from Rob Schneider. The score this time is composed by Alan Pasca, and I liked his score. I noticed that he used a lot of guitars and banjos. I don't remember a lot of that for the other Sandler movies we talked about in this series, aside from The Longest Yard. But overall, the Waterboy, in terms of music, feels different from the horns of most other Sandler movies we've covered so far, like the motorcycle chase and bedtime stories. I don't know, I'm just spitballing my feelings. The movie feels more relaxed, and I really appreciate it. Like, I love the guitar solo as the opening credits are rolling. It gives it a comfy 1990s vibe. I don't have much to say about the songs used here. Like, we get a wide variety, but The Devil Went Down to Georgia, come on the scene after Bobby gets asked to be on the team, that's a classic. The movie is very well shot, even for 1998. It's shot on a 35mm film camera. Why didn't I talk about that with any of the other movies on here? And it has a classic late 90s vibe to it. Again, I know I've used the word comfy a lot, but it's true. The Waterboy is genuinely really cozy. The lighting is very warm and pleasant to the eyes, and although I've yet to rewatch 50 First Dates, I can imagine it's very much the same in terms of production quality and this overall warm, just very relaxed vibe. Like, I can't think of many other Sandler movies that are like shot in this very cozy vibe. The Waterboy is an absolute classic, funny, quotable, relatable. I know it might not seem like I had much to say about it, but what more can I say? I really loved it. It was an absolute classic. It's just one of those movies that I can see myself just getting in bed with a bottle of hot chocolate and just relaxing as I laugh at, "Oh no, we suck again!" I give it a 7.5 out of 10. And as for where I'd rank it, above Anger Management, but under Little Nicky. Yes, I'm insane. And thank you, Queen Chrissy, for recommending this one to me. This is the big one. The last movie we're covering in the Best of the Worst of Adam Sandler, but not the last one we're covering in Cinematic Sludge or Gold. Like, we're not even close to done. This is the one that made many people cry. Here we go. On July 23rd, 2003, 2 months after the release of Jim Carrey's Bruce Almighty, which had grossed $236 million by this point, Sony Pictures purchased a spec script from the writers of the film, Steve Coren and Mark O'Keefe, called Click, with plans for it to become an Adam Sandler movie. It was originally slated for filming in April 2004, but it was put on the back burner due to Sandler filming Spanglish. The great Christopher Walken joined the cast on February 23rd, 2005 to play Morty, the guy who helped start the plot of the movie. Frank Corsi, who directed Sandler and The Wedding Singer and The Waterboy, which we just looked at, signed on to direct in March 2005, replacing Juan Jose Campanella. I probably, again, just butchered that. Click started filming in late 2005 and wrapped in early 2006. Sony Pictures Imageworks started on the film's digital effects that January by a shot compositing's green screen and motion control photography without any research. Kind of impressive. The trailer was apparently released the previous month, and Click opened in the United States on June 23rd, 2006. Despite mixed reviews as always, the film made $240.7 million on an $85 million budget. And as of 2026, it is the only Sandler-produced movie to be nominated for an Academy Award, that being Best Makeup. The story is kind of as simple as it sounds, but I'll just do it anyway. Michael Newman, played by Sandler, is a normal guy who tries balancing his family life with his ungrateful boss. Yawn. But one day, he meets a mysterious inventor known as Morty, played by the great Christopher Walken, and buys a universal remote from him. The remote has magical powers and allows Michael to control his universe. Now, credit where it's due, the movie isn't misleading. Less than 10 minutes in, and it gets into all of the typical shit we expect from the less than stellar Sandler movies. Offensive jokes with not much taste, gross out humor, Rob Schneider as an offensive stereotype, even if I think the dude can be funny, all that. But it's not as depressing and hard to get through as Jack and Jill. It just flies in and just kind of hits every box. There are some fun and goofy moments throughout. Like, I kind of enjoy the various set pieces of what Michael does when he gets the remote. But the movie just doesn't work very much as a comedy. But the last third of the movie almost entirely makes up for it. While Click, again, doesn't work as a comedy, oh my god, the second half will be a shock. The film fully commits to being a tearjerker, and it is amazing.
Will you look at the man?
The visual of Michael dying in the street as his family surrounds him is just chilling. Like, I didn't cry, but I got pretty damn close. I could have dealt without the message being spelled out to us, and Click is no, it's a wonderful life, but while it's pure sap, it feels genuine. This is partly because Sandler lost his father a little before this was shot, hence why 50 First Dates was dedicated in his father's memory. And that's part of what makes the climax effective. Sandler truly believes in the message he's preaching. Another reason why this climax works so well is that it's relatable. Part of why early Adam Sandler movies work so well is that while the main character is immature, there's a mostly relatable aspect to the film in some way. In this case, I'm sure many of us can relate to Sandler's character here because we've all had times we took our family for granted. There's a certain good nature to his earlier movies, and that comes across the most in this film. It clearly worked very well here, because many people have said that the movie made them cry. The ending where Michael is restored and wakes up at Bed Bath & Beyond is also heartfelt. He truly feels like a changed person after the events of this movie. And on top of that, this is one of those Sandler movies that doesn't need a sequel. Because what are you going to do? He doesn't learn his lesson, does the shit he did in this, and dies for real in the end? Hell no. That would be awful. While not the funniest Adam Sandler movie, it's what I like to call a growth film for Sandler. It showed something about him. Adam Sandler does his typical comedy throughout the majority of the film, and sometimes it works, others it doesn't. His performance in the climax is spectacular. You can feel the pain as he acts out the scenes, because I said earlier, his real father died not long before this was shot. He wasn't acting, he was showing us his pain and how much he was hurting. Christopher Walken was also great here. If I'm being honest, when I turned this on to rewatch this, I was expecting this to be like a good chunk of the mediocre roles he took in the 2000s, like The Country Bears, Jiggly, and the Stepford Wives remake. But it's not. He has his classic dark humor here, and I love it.
To the moment he died, you weren't there.
His calm and almost relaxed tone really helped. Like, it really highlights how cold and harsh the world can be. Kate Beckinsale is good as Michael's wife here, and compared to someone like Jessica Biel and Chuck and Larry, she and Sandler are more believable as an on-screen couple, purely because she's not over a decade younger than him. Again, I might throw some shade at Chuck and Larry, but I still like it. Henry Winkler is amazing once again and brought a tear to my eye. From what I understand, Sandler helped bring him back to Hollywood after he struggled fighting the Fonzie typecasting. David Hasselhoff plays the typical Sandler movie villain fine, although Sandler farting in his face during the climax left me with intense secondhand embarrassment. Rob Schneider, of course, pops up to play another offensive stereotype. I've genuinely lost track of how many he's played throughout the course of this series, but this time, I actually couldn't recognize him. Also, fun fact, Jack Nicholson's daughter, Lorraine, plays Michael's daughter in this film. I guess even Jack knew Sandler was a sweet guy after Anger Management. Oh my god, the amount of times I am referencing past Sandler movies is crazy! This was the first Adam Sandler movie composed by Rupert Gregson Williams, and if I'm being honest, I haven't exactly loved his music throughout the course of this series. I don't think he's a bad composer or a bad person. His score has just been a little forgettable at times. That's not the case here. He goes out of the bag. For one, his score here has a more ominous vibe that I feel was kind of not present in the other Sandler movies he composed music for. This is most prominent in themes like Family Man, Looney Old Morty, First Click, Flashes, and Autopilot. I'd highly suggest you listen to the soundtrack after this video is over so you can get an idea of what I mean. His music during the climax is the best. It really helps highlight how much different Click is compared to other Sandler movies in terms of its tone. The film opens with the Cars' Magic, which works pretty well because it gives us no idea of what to expect later on. The movie's budget was $85 million, and it looks pretty decent for that amount of money. Of course, we get our typical plugs. Bed Bath & Beyond is the big one here, and while it would have been cliche, it would have been better if Michael met Morty in some van outside the store, because it would have saved us from another needless product placement. As one commenter pointed out when I posted the last episode, this is unfortunately where the ugly yellow / washed out tint began with the Sandler movies. That tint is very much prominent this time, albeit I don't think it was as bad as Chuck and Larry. He handled the yellow tint. The effects of Michael messing around with the remote are solidly done, and it doesn't look particularly obvious that green screen effects were used. The futuristic sets also look solid, and if I'm being honest, they solidly predicted what hotels and hospitals would look like in the future. Click is a very strange movie. On one hand, it's very much on autopilot for the first half of the movie. It's just a very typical, kind of forgettable Sandler comedy with a few fun and goofy moments, but the last half is a gem that nearly redeems it. That shows Sandler can legitimately act despite being a goofball 90% of the time. And this is also one of the most genuine Sandler movies. You feel that Sandler truly believes in what he's selling, and it makes people like me kind of feel bad about hating his awful movies, because we know that he has the talent to make actually good movies, or at least genuine ones where he believes in what he's selling. Would I recommend Click? It depends. If you really want to see the dramatic stuff, then watch it. But if you want to see a funny comedy, this ain't it. Overall, I give Click a 6.5 out of 10. I would put it above I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, but under Anger Management. And with that, we have officially completed the Best of the Worst of Adam Sandler, and the first 5 episodes of Cinematic Sludge or Gold. So with that, let's go over the rankings so far in case you've forgotten. In last place, we have Jack and Jill. I've already forgotten all about it. Number 11 is 8 Crazy Nights, then Grown Ups, Big Daddy, Pixels, Bedtime Stories, I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, Click, Anger Management, The Waterboy, Little Nicky, and taking the crown as the Best of the Worst of Adam Sandler is The Longest Yard, 2005. So you guys might be wondering, what's next? What am I gonna do next? Well, I'm not ending Cinematic Sludge or Gold. I'm going to continue reviewing movies for the foreseeable future alongside other content on this channel. And in the future, I'm thinking about why not do a Best of the Worst of Will Ferrell? Maybe for some other actors. Let me know if you have any suggestions for that in the comments below. But with all that being said, I want to thank you so very much for supporting me on this journey that's never ending, by the way, or at least I hope. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.